Okay guys, I got a problem. Even though it probably doesn't look like it, I'm kind of running out of room at the shop. I've lost about a quarter of the space that I used to have in this great big yard to somebody who's living my dream and building tiny homes and sheds. That was my choice, so that's not how you guys can help me. About a month ago, I flew up to Sacramento to pick up this 2002 Foretravel motorhome for Doug Sewell with Sewell Motor Coach in Harrodsburg, Kentucky. He asked if I could drive it from Sacramento all the way back to my shop here, and he'd arranged for pickup at that point. But unfortunately, I found a few things wrong with it when I was driving it from Sacramento to my shop here, and he asked me if I could go ahead and fix it, which I did. Now this is a U320 or 320. I'm not quite sure how people would say that. And it has one slide out on the driver's side, and then a second one over here on the passenger side rear. And yes, that paint scheme and the condition does look fantastic for a 22-year-old motorhome. But what do I need help with? Well, Doug contacted me a few days ago and asked me if maybe I could make arrangements to do a test drive all the way back to the dealership in Kentucky, now that my repairs are complete and it's ready to get back on the road again. And if you guys have been following along for any amount of time with my channel, you know that I love driving these things across the country, and it didn't take a lot to convince me to do it. However, I'm going on vacation, so I can't do it. Now, while Doug is happy enough to wait until I get back, he did ask if maybe, in the interim, make a video showcasing this beautiful Foretravel and its condition, because there were some people already asking about it, and he doesn't have time to arrange different transportation back to Kentucky while I'm going to be gone. Now, naturally, because Doug is such an incredibly kind person, and I am too, I did agree to make a quick little video for him. That way, worst case scenario, if there are people that are interested in it, they'd at least have a video to take a look at it so they can ask Doug about it. And best case scenario, unlike that country coach that I just drove from Harrodsburg, Kentucky all the way down to Tucson, Arizona, maybe somebody can pick it up here from Arizona as it is and get me some more room in my ever shrinking shop space here. Now, while if that does happen, I do miss out on the opportunity to drive this beautiful 2002 Foretravel motor coach across country again, it is a risk I'm willing to take. Now, when I did pick this up north of Sacramento, I did meet the previous owner for this. This was a private party sale, and he was taking very good care of it. He just was not able to use it as much as he was going to be using it as he was building a house. But he did have it all set up at an RV park. We went through all the systems together, and he was very proud of this, and he was very sad to have to let it go. While I know traditionally I do start you guys out on the roof, we'll go ahead and start on the outside right here. I keep pointing out the condition of the paint. I don't see any signs of checking on this, and the colors are very inoffensive with a really nice timeless kind of a pattern to it. Now, this front door originally would have had a posi lock like my motorhome has. That means you would have to undo the handle to unlock the door, but this one has been updated to a friction lock right up there, which is a nice feature too. Now, we'll do a quick dip in right here so we can see a little bit more of the layout, so as we're walking around on the outside, it'll make a little bit more sense. Not only was the posi lock updated, they did put side view cameras on, so that's been an upgrade from the factory. And then the tires, I know everybody's going to ask what's the tire date on this, and it is 10 of 19 on the front wheels here. While on the back wheels, we have 4020 on both the drive tires and the tag axle. I saw a very similar one like this when I was back at Sewell Motor Coach there. It did not have the tag axle though. Now, these basement doors are one of the nicer things that Foretravel does offer. Look at all the space that these do not take up. So it's almost like a zero clearance when you're at a gas station or in a storage facility, which gives you great access to the cross bay storage on this. I'm kind of really jealous of that. I don't get that on my RV. The next one does have a rollout. Now, kind of a unique feature on some of these Foretravels built in Nacogdoches, Texas, is that the fuel tank, instead of being right at the front tires right here, they added the fuel cell right here. So it's a direct shot from this compartment, which is again why these compartment doors are really nice to have, because a lot of these modern motor coaches, they hinge over this way, And at a gas station, it's very difficult to open up those doors. This does have propane, which you can see right down there. And it does have 2 storage doors right above, like you'd see on a motor coach or a bus. Now, after those 3 bus-style doors, it does come to a piano hinge door on this compartment. But this is just going to be where you're going to get plumbing access. Your freshwater tank, wastewater tanks are going to be in here. And of course, you can see the plumbing right here. Even the water pump has been updated. And it has a very nice water manifold. And this is just going to be for the heat exchanger, because this does have hydronic heat on it. So that's just there for the heat exchanger for the water bay right there to keep this from freezing and very cold temperatures. Now, another unique feature that you're going to find on the Foretravel chassis of this era, because remember Foretravel built their own chassis, is the radiator is going to be on the passenger side. Now, traditionally, on most side discharge RVs out there, it's going to be on the driver's side. But Foretravel built their own, and so the intercooler, the radiator, is actually on the passenger side over there. Now, before we go further back and look at the engine compartment, which has the best engine access you're going to find on any RV out there, I do want to circle back right to the front and tell you probably one of the biggest problems you might going to find with this RV, and that's going to be the awning. While Doug may not necessarily like that I'm going to point this out, I'm sure he also wants people to be aware of it. This has a Zipty air electric patio awning on it. So that means that the motor that drives the tube to open and close is actually a 24-volt motor. The arms are air cylinders that are hooked up to little tiny air lines behind here. Now, Zipty did discontinue this awning pretty early on in its creation, and they're generally only found on Prevost bus conversions of the era. It's a decent product. It was a good idea. Unfortunately, when Zipty did design it, the wiring that runs through the arm right here did not have a robust weatherproof insulation on it, and after a few years it just crumbled into big chunks. Now, that's not to say that the awning can't be fixed or can't be repaired. The arms themselves are air cylinders, and often they start to leak too. And then the motor, like I said, it's a 24-volt motor, which was an odd choice to me, but that way they can make the wiring smaller, which is probably why they did it. And if we look in the basement right down here, we'll find the controls for the awning. They call it the Zipdy Evolution. And so these 2 batteries right there are ran in series with a tiny, tiny, tiny little battery charger right there. And these make 24 volt to actually operate the awning. Otherwise, you can see you have manual controls for it right there, and a computer timer right above to operate all the functions of everything. But whenever I do an inspection that has one of these awnings, I never try it out or test it. I just always make a note that it is on there, because I've gotten them stuck out before, and it's taken a long time to get them back in again. So I always recommend changing them out to a manual awning. And I think I've seen other owners change it out completely or take it out completely, because quite honestly, you already have a window awning, which is a Zipty window awning over those windows, and another one over the galley window right here. Now, when it comes to the slide outs, they actually have slide out toppers on them too. And on the other side, it has a built-in window awning that'll come down and hook down below. And here's something you don't see very often, a window awning on the driver's toll window. I'm sure a lot of people wishes they had that. So I think that's a very important thing that everybody knows about. And if you stay around to the very end, I'll tell you one more thing that I'm sure Doug doesn't want you to know about, that I just learned very recently about the Foretravel chassis of this era. And I talked to the owner, and he was aware of it, and it was already performed as a retrofit, so we don't even have to worry about that one concern that I'm going to show you guys. Now, moving to the back of the RV here, you can see probably the best engine access you're ever going to find on a motorhome. And it even gets better, because I'll show you on the inside when we get there. Now, this is a Cummins turbo diesel on it. Now, unfortunately, I can't find the data plate on the back of the engine right here, so I guess I will have to show you guys from the inside. Be a good opportunity to show you the great access right underneath the bed here. Be another bedroom underneath here. So this is a Cummins ISM. So at least 450 horsepower, maybe up to 500 horsepower. But this is a mechanic's dream to work in this engine bay. I mean, I'm not a diesel tech, so it's not my dream, but maybe a diesel technician, that might be their dream. Let's go back outside. And we'll take a look to see. Often the exhaust manifold will be cracked, but I don't see a crack over there. And I'm not seeing any real signs of any mechanical issues there. But I think there's even extra fuel filters inside, and I think this was all just serviced. And you know you got to love to see the rear start and stop for. Now while we're here, I know people are going to want to know what the mileage is on this. We're at 103,000 miles. I know that everybody wants to see and hear it running. Of course, I drove it all the way from Northern California, so I've heard it enough. Now, another feature that you're going to find on this Foretravel is this door locks in the up position. And this era Foretravel does have the inspection ladder on the back. We'll get on that very shortly. Coming around to this side, this isn't going to be a radiator side. This is going to be where the exhaust muffler is, and the engine batteries are located right there, which is a very frustrating location if you're a mechanic. And as we go forward, we're going to find the water compartment right here. This is on a hinge door. Oh, that's right. Did I point out these have power door locks too? Really nice to see that in 2002 they added a water hose reel for the city water connection and for the shore core. Nice mechanical valves, going to be for the sewer hookup. But it is really nice to see that these are mechanical valves, not electrically driven problematic ones. Now forward of that, we're going to find your aqua hot. It's a great big huge aqua hot. The AHE 100. It actually has a 3-zone heating. And there's going to be the water heater, boiler, hydronic heat section over here. Again, mechanical drain valves for everything. And this is going to be the other side of the fuel cell, so you can fill it from diesel on this side too. This is not a separate tank. That's part of the tank that you can fill it from the passenger side too. Now, behind this will be the extension of that bay over here. So this is not a full tray that goes on both sides. They are separate in the middle. There's going to be the air compressor for the slide out seals, because this does have HWH slide out seals on it. And then on the other side of this door is going to be that large pass-through storage, and this is a Phylon fiberglass, easy to clean covering in this compartment. Now what I may not have pointed out on this video is that all these compartment doors are made by Foretravel, and these are fiberglass, so they're easier to fix than a metal door, because it's just fiberglass. You can always do a fiberglass repair if you needed to. Over here is going to be the radiator and cooling fan for the generator. And there's just going to be the surge tank for that generator, which is located right here. A PowerTech generator, and this one is difficult to see right through that data plate right there, but this is a 10 kW generator from PowerTech. You're going to find these on the bus conversions too. Close it right there. Now I am very excited to show you guys the inside of this beautiful motorhome, but we haven't been on the roof yet, so let's get on the roof. Or we could at least say was built as good as you're going to find on a lot of RVs too. Now this is a gel coat one-piece fiberglass roof, which has been body worked from the front cap and the rear cap into itself. And when I tell you that this roof is solid, I mean, this is a solid roof. It also shouldn't be too surprising to see that the radius, which is part of that fiberglass roof, doesn't have any sort of perimeter border all the way around it that'll hold water on it. Now this is the radio antenna is missing for the bedroom radio. I would probably just remove this if it were me. The roof ACs are Penguin or Dometic roof ACs. They have an Icon Direct AC shroud that has been upgraded on them. And this even has a skylight, which has an aluminum curb on it. You don't find anything like that in a modern RV. This is usually the flange that holds the water out, so it's good to see that. Now, if it were me, I would probably want to reseal this, but also if it were me, I might be thinking about getting rid of this coax anyways, going to the bedroom. We have max air vent covers over the bathroom vents. I did have to use that driving down the road. The sewer vent is going to have a Venturi vent on it, so these are the upgraded sewer vents on it. And even though this is the side where the refrigerator is, because it does have a Dometic RV refrigerator on it, if we look directly across, there's another vent. Now this is not for a second refrigerator, this is going to be for the range hood. Now following on further, this does have a wind sensor on it. Of course, I wouldn't recommend using that awning. And in 2002, only having 2 roof ACs was pretty common. But it's also important to remember that Foretravels have a little bit shorter profile, so they don't have so much airspace inside in the living area. And 2 ACs in a well-built, well-insulated motor coach will pretty much do. Now, of course, the roof is not intended for spectating or furniture, but if you did go to a race and you were in the infield there, I think you could probably have 10 people up here and the RV wouldn't even know it. But don't do that. Now this is the updated Winegard road trip antenna. Now, this one is compatible with Dish Network and DirecTV, but those are all becoming pretty obsolete at this point. Anyways, you can see the previous owner went ahead and got rid of the TV antenna. I don't know if they had a fight with it or something, but it's not a bad idea to remove and delete this altogether and put a different one up here. They do have a CB antenna right here with an adjustable, easy to operate mast. And we're listening another antenna right here. This might be for a cell phone. That one's probably not too important. And over here is probably going to be the radio antenna. Otherwise, if we peer over the edge, there's not a big bulbous front cap on this. And we can look and see the gasket on the windshield, because this is a split frame or a 2 glass windshield on it. So it's pretty easy and inexpensive to replace the glass on these too. But even the lights look pretty good. Just like on the rear cap, there is no molding I have to walk on to make sure that it's loose or not loose. And so water won't get stuck at the front cap or the rear cap. Really, water's not going to get stuck on this roof at all. This is a gold standard of roofs now that I'm looking at it. So let me go ahead and climb off this roof. And before I put the slide out rooms out, let's go ahead and see what the accessibility inside the RV with those 2 slide out rooms closed. It's always an important thing to know, and not everybody shows you that. All right, let's take a quick look inside here. Oh. So the driver's side front slide out is in. You can see there's really not a lot of clearance for the driver's seat. Now what I've done on a few of these is this fascia, you can cut back a few more inches if you did want a little bit more space right there, but I didn't have any problems driving across country with it like that. And so this slide out room is in. No problem getting to the sofa here or that recliner, even this desk if you needed to. It does get a little bit narrow right here when it comes to the dinette, because this has a dramatic flare out on the galley countertop in order to make room for the desktop right there. So that's about the tightest it gets with that slide out room in the in position. Otherwise, you have good access to the sink, the stovetop, the microwave, and of course the refrigerator. The second most important thing to look for when the slide out rooms are in, especially in a motorhome, is going to be your access to the water closet or the toilet or the head. It's not affected by the slides being opened or closed, which is nice. Now across from the toilet is going to be the rest of the bathroom with the neo-angle corner shower and the vanity. Again, not affected by the slide out room being opened or closed. And maybe the best feature is going to be that the second slide out room is just this closet right here. And because this has a north-south facing bed, if you couldn't operate your slide out rooms, you can still get access to the bed and walk around the bed, make the bed even if you wanted to, even with that slide out room in the closed position. So that's really good information to see. Now that we know all of that, I'm going to go ahead and fire up the engine and get the air pressure built up so we can move the slide out rooms in and out. Now these slide out rooms are built by HWH, and it's one of the nicer features that you're going to find on a Foretravel is that it does have a air cuff type of a bladder seal on it. Very similar that you're going to find on a Prevost bus conversion. Really the best slide out seals that are on the market. All right, wait for that to go solid orange, and now we can go ahead and extend it. And you can see that that air bladder seal inflates like a bicycle tire and wraps all the way around to encapsulate the slide out box, and that's why it has these radius edges on it. No fascia, nice flush slide out room when it's in the closed position. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Wait for this to go solid orange. You can see the slide out seal is being deflated right now. Now as we step inside, you will notice that this is 2002, so it does have carpet. It's pretty high quality shag carpet throughout the entire living room space, which is stained in a few spots. Might be time to upgrade the flooring in here. However, all the upholstery is real leather on it. It's in wonderful condition, including the embroidery with the Foretravel logo on it. Now we look at the dash and the cluster right here. It's incredibly simple with analog gauges, but this is all digital from an onboard computer system. The previous owner has updated the dash radio to a Pioneer touchscreen multimedia center that you can stream from your phone and do hands-free calling on. And even though it looks like it, this has not been upgraded. This is the original Foretravel monitor panel. And we can go to the backup camera right there to see behind us. And now a nice feature that I'm a little bit jealous of is this does come equipped with a smart wheel that'll handle your cruise control and wiper control. And over here, another feature that a lot of people are gonna want, and that's what they want from a Foretravel, is a transmission brake. So no engine brake, it has a 6-speed, I think, transmission brake on it, pulling all the way back being a maximum. Otherwise, mechanical switches for all the chassis components and accessories. And a decent tow window you won't have a difficult time with, but this shade is needs to be replaced. And there's going to be the upgraded side view cameras that we saw on the outside. Now over here is kind of another exclusive that you're going to find on a Foretravel. Has this pull-out section for the passenger and drivers to have access to a cup holder and a little bit of a snack tray right there. It does theoretically lock into place. I think that has to be adjusted a little bit. I've been talking way too much. Hopefully you guys have noticed that all the cabinetry is real solid wood, which is another great hallmark you're going to find on a luxury motor coach like this. Now I'm horrible with my wood species. I don't know if this is walnut or if this is mahogany. Now the front TV I don't think is the original TV. I think it would have been a tube TV in 2002. So at some point, probably before the previous owner bought it, this was updated to a flat screen Sony TV. This is probably from about 2010-ish in there, maybe 2009, but that's probably due for an upgrade too. That'll give you a much better TV too. But all of this is real solid wood. The cabinet faces, the cabinet doors, all the trim on the windows is all solid wood too. They have real solid wood veneer as wainscoting on the walls here too. Now as we make our way back into the front slide out, you'll find it does have an oversized sofa. This does of course turn into a bed. It's just a simple jackknife. It's still that same leather material. It is in really good condition there. It does have a storage drawer underneath. Just behind that will be the dinette. Again, the same leather upholstery on it. This does extend out. There is a table extension leaf in the closet to seat a little bit more, but this does not turn into a bed. Now, much like my beloved 2001 Beaver Patriot Thunder, there is no opposing slide out in the front room here, which means that you have a lot more flexibility when it comes to furniture and floor plans. You don't have to worry about a lip or stepping into anything or hitting your head on cabinetry or fascia trim on this side. And more importantly, the galley's not in the slide out, which is great for plumbing and draining. They do have this nice Euro lounger right here. And over here is again, even though I love my RV, I do wish that my cabinet behind the passenger seat was a little bit more useful than the one I currently have. And you see that wooden wainscoting extends all the way back here to the desk. That's a pretty unique floor plan. You don't normally see a desk hidden away right here. But over time, having a dedicated workspace for a computer or as a desk has become very important in the RV world, and this already has it. You won't have to share your office space with the dinner table either. Now back over here, this is going to be the galley. All the countertops in here are solid surface Corian, and it does have a asymmetrical seamless countertop to sink transition. I do like to see a split sink right here, so you have a work sink, or you can leave this one on. Still have a sink over on this side, but still have a little bit more workspace with that as a countertop extension. Back over here, this does have onboard propane, so it has a Gaggenau luxury propane burner. It looks like I need to get a new hinge put on that. Add it to the list there, Doug. And right above, this is still the original sharp carousel convection oven microwave. No oven down below. And even though it does have knobs on the cabinet doors here, another hallmark of a Foretravel is they don't put hardware in the drawer. There's a little release underneath right there you have to hit in order to open up the drawers. Now, before we go further back, another unique thing you're going to find on Foretravel is a lot of times they have a recess built into the ceiling here. Now, it's just a hint of it, but it does have some mood lighting, some accent lighting to cascade light on top of here. But remember, I said their roofs are a little bit shorter, so they add this section in right here, not just to quiet down the roof AC for the plenum, but to extend a little bit of headspace in the living room here. Now, I didn't point out that we did switch from carpet to real solid wood floors here in the galley area. They're in really good condition. I don't see the finish peeling on it. And maybe there's a little bit of cracks, but if you are going to be upgrading the flooring in here, it might be time to upgrade the flooring in the galley over here. However, this still does have the original Dometic side-by-side refrigerator freezer. More like a French door out of a residential style refrigerator now. I've found these Dometic refrigerators were very reliable, and this one's still working very nice. The nice thing about this, though, unlike some Foretravels, it's wide open down underneath here, which means if you did want to go ahead and upgrade this to a residential refrigerator, you'll have more than enough space to extend that refrigerator all the way down to the ground, and you won't have to customize this cabinetry that much. It does have a pocket door right here for privacy back to the bathroom, but we have turned back into carpet here in what I would say an ensuite bedroom bathroom. Normally I do like carpet in the bedroom area. I'm not a big fan of carpet in the bathroom area. This is a real solid wood door. This does have a porcelain and gravity but electric toilet on it. No macerating toilet. And unlike the last Foretravel I took you guys through, no bad window coverings on this bathroom window here. Across from there is going to be the Neo angle shower. Now there is a little bit of a step up into this shower. Now this does have a fiberglass shower pan right here, which I do like a fiberglass shower pan more than a tiled one. But it does have the Corian with dual colors on the walls, floor to ceiling, because it's also on the ceiling right here. I always have to do this for whatever reason. I'm about 6 foot tall. That's definitely a 7-inch, 8-inch step up here. And it does have a crossbar. So if I do it carefully, I can step in without hitting my head. Like I said, I'm 6 foot. So if it didn't have this skylight right here, which is of course why that has a curb, I would be hunched over trying to take a shower in this. Maybe 6'4" would be my limit. If it's sunny outside though, you might want to put some sunscreen on the top of your head. Just rear of that is going to be the main vanity. There was no vanity in the water closet here. So when I say main vanity, I guess it's the only vanity. It has a pretty useful countertop, which has its own seamless integrated Corian sink on it. Naturally, it does have a mirrored backsplash and mirrored medicine cabinets above. Could use a little bit of updating to it, but when you start with good bones, with no leaks, it's really easy to invest that time and money into something like this. Now just across from there, no washer, no dryer, but it is set up for a washer to be down in here, but there is room above if you wanted to add a washer and dryer combination. Well, you may not have a second vanity. You do have a makeup tray area right here with a pull-out stool, a mirror, and even a little bit of a drawer section down here. Now, of course, this is but it's relatively popular north-south facing bed. It is a queen size bed, so you are limited. You aren't going to be able to make a king out of it without doing a lot of reconfiguring of a lot of issues, and you lose a little bit of walking around space too. Otherwise, if we look at the ceiling here, it has that same recess on it. You might notice that this has 110 wiring. There would have been a ceiling fan right here. But I think the previous owner didn't like that, or at some point they added this cover right there. But that does give you a couple options if you did want to add a different lighting configuration or put a ceiling fan back in. It's already there. Now before we go further back there is that one bedroom slide out right here. It's just going to be your wardrobe, but that's all it's for. And it does have the original owner's manual packet and everything that you're going to need in it, including that dinette table extension right there. Now this is 2002, so it's not surprising you have your sliding mirrored closet doors right here. And of course I mirrored a headboard above the bed there. But you do have a nightstand on both sides of the bed. Right at the top of the bed, underneath the cabinetry right there. You can turn on the outside lights. You have an alarm clock, and you can start and stop the generator from your bed. That little ding in the veneer, no added charge on that one. Of course, these lights are adjustable. Now, before you ask, there is a 110 outlet on both sides of the bed. And just across from the bed is going to be the main dresser space with 4 drawers. Not a lot of dresser drawer space in here. And if there's one limitation that this floor plan has, which mine has the very same limitation, is that the bathroom is not separate from the bedroom. So if you're taking a shower, there is no real privacy from the bedroom area right here. There's no partition door. So that might be a limitation that some people might not be aware of. All right, guys, well, that was this 2002 Foretravel luxury motor coach, custom made by the wonderful guys out there in Nacogdoches, Texas. I'm going to reach out to Doug to find out what he's asking for this, and then I will check back in a second and update you guys. I did just get off the phone with Doug Sewell with Sewell Motor Coach there in Harrodsburg, and he said $99,995. So this is going to be under $100,000. So a high quality luxury motor coach under $100,000 right there. If you have any questions about this motorhome, don't hesitate to ask Doug Sewell or his entire crew there at Sewell Motor Coach in Harrodsburg, Kentucky. And if he has any questions, he'll contact me and I'll do my best to answer the questions to Doug. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm going to try to get some vacation for the first time this year that doesn't include driving an RV across the country. Bye. Oh yeah, you guys thought I forgot, didn't you? One more thing, because you stayed it to the very end. Foretravels of this era, I don't know the exact years that it was a problem. They did have a chassis structural issue with them. This one doesn't have that problem. When Foretravel built these, it was basically in 3 different subframes for the actual chassis frame itself. You had the front section, the body from the front wheels to the back wheels, and then the back section where the engine goes together. For whatever reason, they decided down low, they would just secure all those frame members together with self-tapping screws. So it's important to note, if you are ever going to be purchasing a Foretravel, to get underneath or have somebody get underneath to inspect the frame subassembly right here. You can see those self-tapping screws. They're basically the size of a big bolt. But if you'll notice underneath right here, there's a hole and there's a bolt head. There's a hole and there's a bolt head. So they do have to add these bolts as a retrofit in the middle and on the side right here, just in case those self-tapping screws did break from any tension right there. So that has been done. So thanks a lot for sticking around to the end. Not only did you get to see a very beautiful motorhome, you've also gained a little bit more knowledge of what to look for when you're purchasing a Foretravel of this era. Don't hesitate to look underneath at the frame members themselves. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Bye again. The quality of this Foretravel can really be felt throughout the entire tour of it. Much like my 2001 Beaver Patriot Thunder, this 2002 Foretravel is built a lot better than you're going to find on a modern RV.